Welcome to Auto Detailing and Protection. In this video, we will be doing a full detail on a Audi A6. My goal of this video is to teach you something new, and I hope I do. So if you do learn something new from me speaking, please let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe the video and enjoy. I'm doing a walk around of the car right now. I'm doing a broad assessment of how I would like to detail the car. I'm taking a look at everything. I'm noting certain things that are on the car. Now I'm looking at the inside of the car. After I get a plan developed from just looking around, I'm ready to begin the detail. You can see that the car has protection mats on the inside. I saw that there was Alcantara on the inside of the car. I believe I've detailed this car already before in the past, so I know that it has a really nice coating on the car already. So I'm not going to use any kind of soap to strip it. I am currently using a Giraffe Tools pressure washer that is wall mounted in my garage. I am using a Chemical Guys foam cannon. If you know a better foam cannon out there, please let me know in the comments below. I'm wearing very soft shoes to help my back since I'm going to be up all day. I'm foam canning the car right now. I'm using Mr. Pink from Chemical Guys, which is a pH 7 soap. Okay, now that we got the soap on, what we're going to do is we're going to agitate any dirt that is left over on the car. So we need to make sure that we use the 2-bucket method with filters in the buckets. And we need to do straight line, very lightly, gently, no pressure lines. You always want to make sure you do straight lines when you're aggravating. So what we're doing is we're aggravating the dirt, loosening it up, so when we go to rinse the soap off of the car, that little bit of dirt that's left over will come out. At this time, if the car needs to be clay barred, you can clay bar it as you're doing this at the same time. I noticed that the rims were a little bit dirtier than normal with brake dust. You can use, I'm using, I believe, LNS. I think it's LNS, a brake duster. It's called Brake Buster. And sometimes I switch up my method on how I clean the rims, but just today I'm using a brush. This brush does okay of a job. It does help get like the big stuff off the rims, but it doesn't get everything, and it actually leaves lines in the rims, so you definitely have to touch up the rims again afterwards. I'm rinsing the car from top down. You always want to do top down because dirt falls because of gravity, water falls because of gravity. So if you start from the bottom and you go up, you're just going to be pushing the water up and kind of not getting the dirt off the car. So do the top down method for everything that you do. Dry the car top down, rinse it top down. This air gun right here is amazing. It saves me at least 45 minutes per car detail drying it. I do at the end, you don't see it in the video, but I use a towel just like this. Sometimes I show it, sometimes I don't, just to get that little extra bit of water off. I believe this is a GSM 800, maybe a 1000 plush towel that I'm using to dry the water off. So if you don't have the air gun, use that. And after the car is completely dry, you can then do your assessment of what the car needs for the detail. It's almost prepped and ready to go. It's not prepped and ready for a coating, but it's prepped and ready for you to make a plan and method of how you want to tackle today's detail. And since we're here assessing the car, if you take a look like further around the car, look at my garage setup. Man, I love my man cave. This is my opinion. I like my setup as a detailer. I love it. I can see the scratches on the car with all the lights I have. Got the light kit off Amazon. I believe I put the link below. If you like the light setup, you can get that off Amazon. I believe the brand is called Barina. I love it. It was like $200, wasn't a big deal to me, and it has helped me as a detailer significantly. With my review of the car, I noticed that there were some things that needed to be buffed and polished out. I'm using that Meguiar's buff and polishing compound that I just showed you, and I'm getting the scratches and marks out of the car that did not come off with the initial wash. This will make the outside of the car stick out and pop. It stands you out as a detailer when you do small things like this. If you don't have a really nice light setup, if you look at that headlamp that I just showed you on the video, that brand is called Scan Grip. Scan Grip is basically the best lights that you can buy as a detailer, in my opinion. They're really, really good. I started on a Scan Grip and I still use it, and I'm using it right now in the video. So no matter how well you have or how good your light setup is, this headlight is still needed, especially when you're detailing the inside of the car. One example of what I just said is that if you spray shampoo on the carpet in the car and there's still sand on the carpet, when you get the sand, the grit wet, and you have a light on, the sand will actually reflect off the light, or the light will reflect off the sand, and it will shoot a glare in your eye, and you can see the sand better. You couldn't do that if you didn't have the light on your head. The way that I buff and polish, I typically go from left to right and I make a S. And then I do the same S pattern but going up and down. Then I go left to right one more time and then I check my work. And if the scratch is gone, then I move on to the next spot. I typically don't buff and polish like the entire car. I get the big spots. A lot of times I don't even need to buff. I just polish and that gets the job done. That I because I typically use a microfiber buffing pad and I use the brand Meguiar's mostly of all my pads, but I mix everything up just to see what works better. I'm starting to get into using wool pads a lot more since I'm around the 20-year mark as a detailer. I'm starting to use more wool pads now and not the foam pads. Okay, so as I did another inspection of the car after I buffed and polished a lot of the scratches out, I noticed that it had some past damages from past car washes. This car does go to the car wash machine, and I got some damages out of the headlights. Now, for the next part of the video, you're going to watch me prep the car for the actual ceramic coating. And I'm prepping with rubbing alcohol, diluted rubbing alcohol, and water. And I'm going over the whole entire car to prep it for the coating. When I prep and when I coat, I normally typically use a GSM 600 rag. It might be a 400, between 400 and 600. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I believe it's a 400. Super thin, edgeless. I always rip out off the little tag so it doesn't scratch the car potentially. And I just take my time, one panel at a time, and I just rub rubbing alcohol on everything. One key note, what this also does, besides prep the coating, it also allows you to see if your car is still dirty. And if you get a little smudge mark on your rag and you can see a little bit of dirt or something or get discoloring, you need to get rid of the rag and switch to a brand new clean rag. Every rag that you use should be like perfectly clean and almost brand new each time. You can reuse rags by washing them, but you can't wash them too many times before they get frail and messed up. Another good use for using a towel that's already kind of dirty but not too bad is that you could use it to get the door jams. You could use that rag to do the hood jams that I'm doing right now because you're gonna have to discard it anyway, so you might as well get the big dirt with it. Okay, so let's talk about the rubbing alcohol again. So the rubbing alcohol is removing the buffing and polishing compound that I put on the car when I was getting the scratches out. It's not that, I mean, you can't put the ceramic coating on top of that other compound chemical because it will form and make a very bad hazing marking on the car that it's very difficult to get off that type of hazing, and it's called cross contamination. Another way of getting cross contamination would be using a rag and spraying a chemical on it, and then using a whole nother different chemical that does something different completely and spraying that on the rag. And you have those two chemicals that bond together or mix together, and they have a bad reaction on the car, which typically is like a rainbow effect. That's why you don't want to detail the car like in the sun, because the sun actually interacts and changes the chemical itself. So you can't get the desired effects from that. So you need to detail out of the sun, don't cross contaminate your rags, and also prep the car for specific coatings. Ceramic coating is a little expensive, and you don't want to have to strip it and start over, and make sure that your leveling is spot on. When I coat cars, I coat the entire car. I coat the rims, I coat the glass, I coat the clear coat, the paint, I coat everything. The plastic, everything is coated. I don't really like to use chemicals when I'm cleaning the rims. I typically just use my steamer, which is a VX, it's called the VX 5000, and I use my steamer on the rims. But if there's a lot of really bad brake dust on the rims that you're cleaning, I recommend using Brake Buster or Iron X, some type of iron remover. And then I would not spray a tire dressing on the tires. I would not spray it because you'll get it all over the rims, and you have to wipe down the rims again. So I recommend just try to do everything by hand. It will take longer, but you'll have a lot higher quality work. Always inspect your work. Always keep inspecting your work throughout the whole day. And if you don't have any chemicals at all to clean the rims, you can use rubbing alcohol. I am beginning to detail the interior of the car now. That is Alcantara right there. I will have to clean that a specific way. Here is what a brand new Audi looks like. The technology has gotten a lot better over the last couple of years. I mean, there's three digital displays. It's so beautiful. I really enjoyed this detail. And speaking of that, look at the mats. Please remove the mats in the cars that you detail and detail underneath the mats. Thank you. Anyways, let's begin. I'm going to begin by coating the very top part of the outside of the car. Yes, we skipped the coating. We got to go back. We're not starting inside of the car. I just wanted to show you the inside. I couldn't believe that it had three digital displays. The coating that I'm using to coat the outside of the car is called Next Gen. I came across Next Gen quite a few years ago, and I used it for over 5 years. It's very, very easy. It's the easiest coating I've ever dealt with, and I love it. It stays on the car for about a year, and it keeps you from having to detail your car and wash it all the time. I have everything good to say about the chemical Next Gen, the brand. However, there are better chemicals on the market by far, like Adams graphene and ceramic spray that I'm currently using right now. That is twice as good as Next Gen. Stays on the car for about 18 months to 2 years, but the price of it is also twice as expensive. So I said it. Better chemicals, higher costs. Find out the best one that suits you, suits your needs, suits your budget, all that. You can do the math yourself. As a detailer, you're moving around a lot. You're doing a lot of steps, you're burning a lot of calories, and I don't have time for a break. So I take a 5 to 10 minute break. I heat up a factor meal. I eat factor meals a lot. I try to stay healthy. That was also a protein drink. So a protein drink and a factor meal with all my nutrition helps fuel me to keep going and continuing. Let's talk about curing of the chemical. Here it goes. You can be really slow at applying a ceramic coating, or you can be really good at it. I'm pretty good at leveling it right now. So I'm leveling it right now, and it flashes in about 45 seconds to 1 minute. So you got about 45 seconds to 1 minute to just really do what you want to it, have it look in the way you want it to look, and then the only way that you can change it after that is to add more coating. When you get done applying the coating on the whole entire outside of the car, I highly recommend for you to do like 5 walkarounds inside of your garage and outside in the sun and in the shade so that you can see at all different angles if there's any markings on the car from the coating that you can fix right there on the spot. You're going to want to have 2 brand new fresh cloths, one for applying the coating and the second one for polishing the coating. So this is me doing the windows with the second rag. You're going to want 2 different colors. One color is for you to know if it has the coating on the rag, and then the other color is for knowing that it's nothing is on there. I had to switch rags again. Like I said, you want a nice, fresh, clean rag per car, and I think it got dirty. But anyways, you can see the coating on the car. It's kind of thick when you apply it. So you need to do small sections at a time. And I think I broke up the back side of the car 3 different ways. The top, the middle, and then the bottom. So it takes about an hour to an hour and a half to do a full coating of the car. Right now, as a detailer, I spend 4 hours on the outside of a normal car with no issues, and I spend 4 hours on the inside of the car if it has no issues. In total, I spend 8 to 9 hours average on a sedan car on a full detail. That's not including cars that are meant to be sold, where I have to detail the engine. If I detail the engine bay, it typically takes an extra 2 hours. Again, pay attention that I have a scan grip headlight on and I'm looking to see what I'm doing. You can see the difference between a work light and a showroom light. Okay, so it's time. Let's take a small sneak peek around the car. Here we go. Look how shiny this puppy is looking. It's going to be shinier tomorrow too once the coating is fully cured. But holy cow, look at this. It is looking good. We are about to take a intermission and we're about to eat lunch, and then we're going to come back and we're going to eat. I mean, not eat. We're going to detail the interior of the car. But first, before we get to the interior of the car, let me show you about the factor mills. I'm not trying to sell you anything, but this is what a factor mill looks like. It was my first time. I haven't been doing it that long, and it's kind of like my first time, so I just wanted to run you through it real fast if you never tried it before. Yeah, I can't read any of that on the film, but you get the point. That's what it looks like, and that's it. It's not too bad. Okay, so we're gonna take a big deep dive into taking a look of what we have to do to clean the inside of this car. So right now I'm using the scan grip light to just get the reflection off the sand. I can see all the sand where all the major issues are. Doesn't look like anything big. Looks like a normal detail to me. Take a look at the back. There's no mat in the back because I already took it out. Sand. Oh, it looks like they've been to the beach or something recently because I live near the beach. So I got the beach sand to deal with. The leather looks like it needs some kind of conditioner. It looks like it's drying out. Something's going on. We'll figure that out too. This is my VX5000 steamer. I have had it for 10 years. I have never had any issues with it. I believe they're pretty difficult to find or get because they only come from one source. And also, I love it. It takes about 20 minutes to get the water steaming, and it takes this full canister right here. You always want to make sure you use distilled or filtered water when you use it. Okay, so I'm taking a leather conditioner right here, and I'm going to apply the leather conditioner onto the seat, and boom, there it is. I just applied it right there as fast as, lightning basically, and I've coated some of the other stuff around the car, and it's looking pretty decent now. I typically wait until the carpets and everything are done before I do the seats and the top part of the car. It is better to do the top part of the car, but the reason why is because if you do the carpets first, you don't have to worry about getting anything dirty. But I was waiting on the steamer to get ready. Here I am doing the steam around the car. I haven't vacuumed yet. So I'm just loosening up and trying to find all that loose dirt wherever it may be so I can get it. I'm also getting all the sand and grit and all that, whatever you want to call it, a little bit wet so you can see the reflection off the light that I mentioned earlier. I'm using a bore brush right now to get the dust and dirt out of all the cracks and crannies for the top part. I have had this same bore brush for about 5 years. I have not had any issues with it. I don't know the brand or anything like that. You can find them off Amazon. They're pretty cheap and they will help you. You need them as a detailer, and it really helps coating things that you can't reach with the cloth and fingers. It helps getting inside those deep crevices of the air vents and everything in the cars. Also, if you notice in the video, I started wearing gloves. Well, because I started touching chemicals with my hands. I like to touch the car a lot with my hands and not wear gloves, but you can kind of, I don't know, save yourself from cancer if you wear gloves. That was kind of like a joke, but anyways, you wear gloves because you don't want to be picking up people's trash in the car with your bare hands, especially if it's like snot rags and stuff like that, which is really gross and nasty. So wear gloves so you can save yourself from all the germs and getting yourself sick. And I'm using Milwaukee's tools right now to detail. I got these from Lowe's or Home Depot, I can't remember. I love these little tiny tools. They help me reach spots that I can't reach with my hand or see. And as again, I'm using the scan grip light again. Depending on the type of carpet that you're dealing with, it could be luxury vehicles, BMWs, Mercedes, Audis, or you can be dealing with Hondas and other type of cars that have similar type of carpets. That will determine what type of tool that you use to clean it. Well, now I know that my carpet is a little bit more plush. I can use these tools that you see in the video right now that are very helpful to get all the grit, sand, and all that stuff. But I showed you the bottom of the tool and I showed you the other Milwaukee tool. I hope you enjoyed it and you try it out for yourself. Now we're going to talk about the chemicals that I'm using on the carpets. I'm using mostly all from the same brand, and it's Carpet Bomber. I love Carpet Bomber. I mix the peroxide up with it, and I mix the other enzymes up, chemicals up with it, just for an all-in-one carpet bomber situation. This will get all the smells out. This will kill things that aren't supposed to be there, and it foams up really well for when I go to steam clean the carpets. At the very end of cleaning all the carpets and everything, I like to add my little touch, my little art piece, what I think makes it look better. My just to let people know that's me, you know. I like to do stuff like this. When you're cleaning carpets with a brush, don't forget that you still need to clean the brush. So I take my steamer and I clean my brush because the brush collects dirt and I don't want to keep cleaning the carpets with dirt on my brushes. So you have to really, really make sure they're basically brand new every time you go to use them. A lot of things that I use are my own brand and I love them and I don't really share. But anyways, always like I said, do inspections. I'm doing a small inspection right now to make sure that I got everything, that I didn't miss anything, and that I've added my flare to it. Everything is evenly coated. Then towards the end, I start focusing on the glass, which is typically dead last, and the door jambs. If you notice that the way that I am cleaning the glass, I'm cleaning the glass by having the light on the opposite side or the light at different angles so that I can see the hazing reflection, symbolizing that there's some type of contaminant or something on the window that I still need to collect with the rag. And I'm using a waffle rag. This is the final inspection of the car. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope that you have learned something new. This is a longer video than normal. I just wanted to give you the full version of everything, and I hope you continue to watch my channel. Please like and subscribe. Thank you so much if you made it to the end. It means so much. And I have chemicals coming on the market soon that I'll share with each and every one of you. Thank you and have a good day. Bye.